You've been told if you keep your head down, work hard, and prove yourself, recognition, promotions, and opportunities will come. But let's be honest, that's just not true. This is Lead Without Limits, a podcast for professionals in multifamily and beyond who are ready to stop second-guessing themselves. Because leadership isn't just about titles or tactical skills. Yes, we'll cover those here, but real leadership starts from within. It's about changing the beliefs and behaviors that have kept you playing small and rewiring the thought patterns holding you back. I'm Shanenn Bryant, a confidence and pattern expert, and this is the space where we talk real growth, real change, and maybe have a little workday humor along the way. This episode is brought to you by the Multifamily Media Network, delivering the latest news, ideas, and inspiration across the multifamily sector. If you're ready to lead without fear, lead without doubt, and lead without limits, you're in the right place. Let's get started. You've been crushing your goals for 2 years straight. Your performance reviews are stellar. Your boss loves your work. But when that promotion opportunity comes up, someone else gets it. Again. If that sounds like you're not alone. Despite what we've been told about merit-based promotions, the reality is that 70% of senior leadership positions go to people who had strong internal advocates, not necessarily the top performers. So who did get those promotions? People who understood that career advancement isn't just about individual performance, it's about having the right people in your corner. Here's what really stings. While you're laser focused on delivering exceptional work, others have been building these strategic relationships that amplify their visibility and advocacy. They're not necessarily better at the job. Most likely they're not, but they're better at connecting with the right people. And then what happens? You essentially are competing with one hand tied behind your back, hoping that your work is going to speak for itself. I had a supervisor before. She shared many great things with me, but one of them was nobody else is keeping track of your work, not even me. And that was really honest. Like, yes, she knew some of the really great things I had been doing, and she thought I was a great performer, but she's not literally tracking those things. You have to do that for yourself. That's a whole nother episode. But what I'm saying is your track record alone is not going to get you that promotion. So today I'm going to share the exact relationship formula that you need to get promoted. 3 very specific types of people that, when you have them in your corner, can accelerate your career faster than any performance alone ever could. Welcome to Lead Without Limits. I'm Shanenn Bryant, and today I'm sharing that 3-person power play, the exact relationship strategy that top performers use to get promoted. By the end of this episode, you're going to know exactly who you need in your corner, how to identify them within your organization, and most importantly, how to build these relationships authentically so that you never get passed over again. So most of us have been told that if you keep your head down, you work hard, you deliver results, that promotions will follow. And I believed that too. I have definitely been looked over for a promotion, even when I was doing a good job, even when I might have been the right person. But performance alone, yes, performance matters, but it's not the whole story. And the uncomfortable truth is most organizations, the promotion decisions happen in rooms that you're not in, with most likely people who barely know your work. Your boss might advocate for you, but they're just one voice among many decision makers. This is why you need what I call the 3-person power play, 3 distinct types of relationships that when they're combined and you have all 3, they really create an unstoppable career acceleration engine. So, person number 1 that you need, the mentor, your guide. And I'm specifically talking about internal mentors. Yes, I believe you need more than one mentor. You definitely need one outside of the organization, but you need that internal mentor. And here's where a lot of people make a mistake. They try to get a mentor that's like 2 and 3 levels above them. Like, oh, if I can get the VP of whatever to be my mentor, then that's the relationship and they'll know me. No, not for your mentor, unless that VP is only 1 to 2 levels above you. You want what I call the tactical mentor. That's someone who's 1 to 2 levels above you. They've recently walked in your shoes or walked in your path, so they get it. And this person, you want to give you actionable feedback on the skills and behaviors that you need to develop. It's really important that you have the conversation with this mentor and say, hey, I want you to be upfront and honest. The best way that I'm going to grow is for you to give me honest feedback, real-time coaching. They're going to tell you need to work on your presentation skills, honest feedback about your readiness and areas for growth. But having someone that you can go, hey, I know because they're my mentor, I'm going to have them be just the person that they can tell me whatever. They can give me the lowdown. They can give me the constructive criticism, and I'm not going to take it personally because I know they have my best interest in mind. So it's going to be factual. This is what they see. This is how they think that I could grow. This is where I have areas that I need to improve. So if you make that mentor someone like, I know they have my best interest at heart, it's going to make that feedback easier. It's going to make that feedback more beneficial because you're going to take it and go, this most likely is something I need to work on, versus maybe somebody who gives you feedback that you don't really have that great of a relationship with. You may not take that feedback as much to heart. So have that conversation with your mentor up front. Hey, give me the down and dirty. Give it to me straight. That's how I want to grow, and that's how I want this relationship to be. So how do you find a good mentor within your environment? You really want to look for and identify people who have a reputation for being approachable and helpful. This person, you notice they speak up in meetings with thoughtful insights. These are people who want to be a mentor, not somebody who is just like, ugh, this is just more work for me to mentor someone. And so you can usually tell if they are very helpful with other people, they're giving their opinions, they're giving their insights. All of that is going to be somebody who might potentially be a really great mentor. If your organization doesn't have a formal mentor program, then you have to find these on your own. So that's something that you definitely want to look for. You also want to observe who maybe the newer employees tend to gravitate toward advice. That usually probably makes a pretty good mentor. If you can't identify someone known for developing others, look for people who seem just genuinely interested in other people's success. They're taking time to explain things thoroughly in meetings and give constructive feedback rather than just the criticism. And then the last thing, watch for people who celebrate other people's wins. That's going to make a really good mentor. So once you find your mentor, you really want to make the most out of that relationship. So come prepared with specific questions, not just, hey, give me advice. Tell me what's my next move? What are the things that I should do? You want this relationship to be genuine. So ask them about their career journey and lessons that they've learned along the way. Be interested in them both personally and professionally. And then you want to seek guidance from them in situations that you're facing. Request their feedback on your communication style, your presence. Ask them to help you identify your blind spots. I once had a colleague that was like, you cross your arms in every meeting. You look so unapproachable and kind of grumpy. I was just cold. But, I typically ran cold those days and I would just cross my arms all the time. But it was great feedback to hear. And it gave me something to remember and something to work on, because that perception a lot of times is reality. So ask them to help you with your blind spots, and then share your goals and ask them for their perspective and how they think you should handle it. As I mentioned, have multiple mentors, this internal one for organizational insight, and then at least one external mentor that can give you a fresh perspective without being influenced by your company's politics or the culture. Okay, person number 2 that you need in your corner is the sponsor. This is your champion. And this is where it gets interesting. A sponsor is fundamentally different from a mentor. That mentor gives you advice. A sponsor uses their influence on your behalf. So they are going to be someone who actively promotes your name and your accomplishments across the organization. So they're bringing your name up. They're talking about your projects. They're talking about all of that in the meetings and in the rooms that you're not in. They're creating this awareness of your capabilities with other leaders. And that's what you want. You want the promotion decision makers to be hearing your name, hearing it often, hearing it in a good light, and from other people. It doesn't come across as well if you're the only one shouting about how great you would be on this new project or how great you would be in this new position. But if other people are saying it, if other people are talking about how great your work is, that's where the secret sauce is. And this sponsor is going to have access potentially to stretch assignments and high visibility projects that you wouldn't have maybe known otherwise. And if you make a mistake, this person's going to step up for you. They're going to step up to bat for you. They're going to give you some grace. They're going to give you support, when you make a mistake or you take calculated risks and it doesn't go well. If they're giving you grace and they're giving you support through your mistakes, other people are going to be a little bit more welcoming and understanding. Your sponsor can also give you direct recommendations and referrals to other leaders. So if you're doing work for them and you did it really well, or you're in a project with them, you're going to go, oh, hey, you might be good for so-and-so's project. That's what you want, because they are then opening doors to opportunities that you might not hear about otherwise. So how do you identify potential sponsors? They have to, first and foremost, have influence and credibility across the organization. While that's important for your mentor to have as well, your sponsor absolutely must be, quite frankly, someone that's pretty well liked, that has influence within the organization. That's the only way that that's going to work. Maybe they have successfully sponsored others before, so you might want to ask around, but they are definitely respected by senior leadership and their peers. They're willing to speak up and advocate for other people. It doesn't do any good to have a sponsor who knows you're great, but never says anything about it. So again, when you're looking for this person, who is speaking up, who's saying good things about other people, that's who you want to look for. So how do you earn their sponsorship? Because this is a bit different than the mentorship. The mentorship, we know we can just easily ask someone if they'll be our mentor, or maybe your organization has a mentoring program, but sponsors, not so much. So one, we don't necessarily have to ask someone to sponsor us. Maybe they don't even know they're our sponsor. Start by being an outstanding contributor to their team or their initiatives. You can, in the background, consistently deliver exceptional results on their priorities. So if there's a way for you to make their life easier, make their project go more smoothly, that's what you want to do behind the scenes. Just do really good work. Make their job easier, help them achieve their goals. Show that you can handle bigger responsibilities without constant oversight, and represent them and their team well in front of others. Or if it's the same team, here's the thing. You're not going to get somebody to talk well about you in a room you're not in if you talk bad about them in a room they're not in. People hear, just like that word spreads, it's going to spread too. If you want someone to speak well of you, if it makes sense, you have to do the same. Be somebody that they can count on in challenging situations. So if you have the bandwidth and they need help, step up, step in there, make yourself available, make yourself known. And you do want to proactively communicate your career goals and ask for their guidance. So just because we're not telling them that they're our sponsor and we want them to be our advocate and speak highly of us in the room, we do want to tell them, though, what our goals are. Like, I want to get to this position within this time. Like, this is really, I'm hoping to advance to this role in the next 6 months or in the next 12 months. So would you be willing to advocate for me if you hear of an opportunity that comes up? Or please consider me or think of me if you hear of any opportunities that come up. And definitely ask them what success looks like from their perspective, especially if you're working on projects with them or you're part of their team. You want to know, what does success look like for them? So the golden rule is you earn sponsorship through performance and trust, not just relationship. They have to believe that promoting you by words, reflects well on their judgment and supports their own success. All right, person number 3 you need in your corner, the connector, your network amplifier. This is the one that most people miss entirely. This is someone who knows everyone, and they love introducing people and can exponentially expand your network. So what can they provide for you? Introductions to key decision makers across the organization, access to informal networks and information. So connectors are very connected and they've got networks of people and informal networks. So not just within the organization, but even outside of the organization where you can get connected and participate in something that may help you with inside the organization. Here's the other one. They're going to know opportunities that you'd never otherwise have heard of. Because still, the best advertisement, the best way to get a job, to be known, is word of mouth. Which also takes me to the credibility part, because you'll get credibility by association when they introduce you. So if my connector introduced me to someone, I would instantly, that person that they introduced me to would have instant credibility with me, because I know my connector would not have done the reach out, the introduction, if they didn't feel like that person was worthy of that connection. They don't want to mess up their network. They're known as the connector. They want to keep their network strong and people rely on them and people trust their decision of who they're connecting with whom. Who? With the connections. So that person now has instant credibility with me, which means so will you. If your connector introduces you to someone, you get that credibility automatically by association. So who are these connectors? How do I find them? They are typically within your organization. They're going to be probably long tenured employees who know everyone across the departments. They're going to be cross-functional leaders who probably, work in the multiple departments. These are people who genuinely love helping others succeed and making connections. They're good at it. It's easy for them. It feels like second nature. They love to do it. So how do you build this relationship with them? Be genuinely interested in getting to know them as a person, not just for what they can do for you. This is really one where you have to have that genuine relationship. So you want to share information and insights that might be valuable to their network, and look for ways to connect them with others who might be helpful for them. And if they connect you, you want to make sure that you're always following up, both professionally and promptly on the introductions that they make. Otherwise, if they make an introduction and you sit on it, or you're not professional or do something that may harm their credibility and their influence, they're not going to connect you again. So this one was probably one that was really hard for me because I didn't realize the value of this relationship. And I wasn't good at it myself. I am not just naturally a connector and someone who thinks, oh, you need to know this person because this is how the two of you can, collaborate, or this is how the two of you will fit well together. I'm just not somebody who is a good connector. It's a skill, you can learn it, but it's not something that came naturally to me. As part of this, we need to build up our network, but we may not be there yet. So you might not have a ton of people that you can introduce them to. You can do other things. You can provide industry insights or trends from your areas of expertise or something that you know is interesting to them. Or you can volunteer to help with their projects or initiatives that you know they care about. Even if you don't have that big network, and this was, as I mentioned, this was something that was really hard for me. I'm like, oh, this person's doing so much for me and connecting me in all these different ways. And I don't have that. I don't have that to give back to them. So one of the big things is you can go, let's say I'm in accounting and they're in marketing. I can do some research and find things that might be interesting to them or might help them in their career. So I can share maybe relevant articles or resources about marketing that align with their interests. Offer to be a resource for people that they're mentoring or developing. And while you're at it, you can find out from them, like, how do I develop my own connecting skills? This is a muscle that you can build, and they're going to love to help you. And when they do connect you to someone, make sure to say thank you for the introduction. Don't just start the conversation with a new connection because it's getting what you want. Thank them for making the connection. And then, as a way, again, to continue to build this relationship with them, update the connector on how the conversation went when it's appropriate. Like, let them know, hey, gosh, thank you so much for connecting so-and-so. We had the best time. We were able to make this thing happen. We were able to come together on this project. We were able to do this thing. Let them know, give them an update so they know, okay, that was definitely worth my time. I'm so happy that that connection worked out well. I'm so happy that I was able to assist in that. So you can always look for different ways to pay it forward, even if you don't have a huge network yourself. And remember, the best connectors appreciate people who understand that networking is about building genuine relationships, not just collecting business cards. So show up as someone who adds value to their network in whatever way, not just someone who shows up and takes from it. So how does this all work together? How do all these three people work together? Here's the magic. When you have all three working in concert, you create what I call a career acceleration ecosystem. Your mentor helps you develop the right skills and positioning. Your sponsor advocates for you in rooms that really matter. The connector ensures the right people know who you are and what you're capable of. Together, they create multiple touch points and perspectives that make you impossible to ignore. Here are your action steps. And this is where things get tactical. So here's your homework. Audit your current relationships. You want to map out who currently maybe fits into each of these roles in your career. And there may be some gaps. You might not automatically go, oh, that's a great mentor or that's a great sponsor person. You've got to kind of take your time, do a little bit of research, and then identify 2 to 3 potential people within your organization. Research their backgrounds, their interests, and maybe any of their recent wins. This is going to help you when you kind of start the conversation. Again, you can share an insight. You can make an introduction if you have one. You can volunteer for their initiatives. If you know that they're swamped or they need help, can I step in? The strongest professional relationships should feel more like a partnership than transactions. And be patient because these relationships develop over time through consistent, authentic interactions. That opportunity for a promotion might not come up for another 6 months or even a year. You have time and you want to build these relationships. So take your time, know that you need to put in the consistent work, just like any relationship. Schedule regular check-ins with them, take them to lunch, share updates on your progress. Continue to look for ways that you can support their goals as well. So, promotions aren't just about being ready for the next level. They're about the right people knowing you're ready and being willing to advocate for you. The 3-person power play isn't about playing politics or being inauthentic. It's about being strategic in building genuine relationships that create mutual value. If you're giving that person value back, it shouldn't then feel like, oh, I'm just doing this to get something. So your power move this week is to identify the 2 to 3 people for each of those roles within your organization. And then start with the person that you feel the most comfortable approaching and start building those relationships. Remember, the best time to build these relationships is before you need them. So if this episode has helped you think differently about your career advancement, please share it with someone who you think needs to hear it. So until next time, lead without fear, lead without doubt, and lead without limits. Thanks for tuning in to Lead Without Limits and investing in what matters, you. If you found this episode valuable, please share it with a friend or colleague who might benefit as well. This podcast is brought to you by the Multifamily Media Network, your trusted source for stories, trends, and insights in multifamily living. I hope this moved you one step closer to lead without fear, lead without doubt, and lead without limits.